What term do you use to refer to an Illinois politician?
I don't know.
Inmate. Hello and welcome to Best Motorcycle Roads. I'm Tom.
And I'm Todd. We have over 65 years of combined motorcycling experience and 30 years of planning and riding motorcycle trips. We're here to share with you everything we've learned over those years.
Our goal at Best Motorcycle Roads is simple. Make your next motorcycle trip the best it can be. We dive into technology, planning, packing, the routes, and everything in between.
From essential prep to unforgettable routes, we've got you covered.
Before we kickstart today's journey, we ask you to sign up for our BMR Rider Alerts. It's our way of keeping you in the loop with the latest rides, tips, and stories. We promise no spam, only the essentials to enhance your motorcycle adventures. Join the BMR crew today. We'll put a link in the show notes. This segment about motorcycle gear reviews and tips we call the Toolkit. Let's talk about heat gear. Gear for the heat. We're rolling. Summertime now. And it gets hot out there.
Yeah.
And last time we spent a lot of time like on hydration. If you didn't hear that, go back and listen. But also it really helps, some of the early years I would take my coat off. I'd be riding with, short sleeves. And there's a lot of people that do that. And if that's good for them, that's fine. But like I always feel like I have insects crawling under my skin if I do that. And then, you've talked many times about proper like sunscreen, and the more I covered up my skin when we were riding, the better I always felt. So like I continued to kind of add different things, including like mesh gear to ride. And really, I'm a fan. So that's kind of what we're promoting here, I guess. But you can get everything from a mesh coat to mesh pants to, long sleeve shirts that wick kind of the sweat away and cool. It's all really good. I mean, and every major manufacturer has some sort of a gear like that. We've talked about different kinds. There's some armor that fits under your clothes and that kind of wicks away and brings in, coolness. I don't know. I'm a big fan of it. I like it a lot because I feel like I just feel more comfortable at the end of the day when riding when it's really hot. So I don't know what you're feeling about it, Todd.
I do like the jackets that are, mesh in the sleeves and, got some mesh in the front. And mine has a liner, too, that I can, unzip for that, for that hot weather. But absolutely, I like that.
It really does. My favorite thing about riding in the heat, we were riding to Memphis. I think you were meeting us that day. And we pulled into this convenience store and we walked in and the AC was on, of course, which was great. And I just remember we asked, do you mind if we step in the cooler for a minute and just hang out? Because it was so freaking hot. Oh my gosh. And the lady's like, okay.
I bet that felt great.
Oh my gosh. It's probably bad. We probably overcooled too soon.
Yeah. RideWise is the section we focus on planning and safety tips. In RideWise today, we're going to talk a little bit about doing some planning. And since we're going to talk about some Illinois riding today,
I thought it was Illinois.
Leave the S off, please. Okay, so some ways to find some of the best routes, other than just listening to our podcast.
Right.
Utilize websites like Twisted Road, Best Motorcycle Roads Facebook group.
Yep.
There's apps like Reaver, Kalamoto. Those can help you discover popular routes that have been chosen by other riders.
Yeah.
And those can often include things like reviews, difficulty ratings, some stunning visuals, to help you pick your adventure, and then join some communities.
Well, I think even just in that vein, before you go on to the communities, like YouTube videos, there's a lot of great people that have taken time to record their own video instead of cheating and borrowing somebody else's. And I'm not going to throw people under the bus, but like, look for authentic videos from people that rode the routes. I mean, they've taken time to actually do it instead of just trying to drum up YouTube viewers. I get all antsy about this, but there's so many good like people on YouTube putting great content out and sharing videos that they take. It's hard to make videos of riding motorcycles and putting it out there. That's a lot of work, and you can tell the difference because it's like these stock video that go by. It's like you're just reading things off of paper. You're not doing it, So just be choosy, and when you find them, like them and give them comments because that helps them too.
Yeah. And I know I mentioned, the forums or Facebook groups.
Yeah.
There's so many Facebook groups out there. You can find Illinois Facebook, Illinois, motorcycle riders. Join one, but if there's a bunch of garbage in there, advertisements and people not even really sticking to the subjects or the topics, get out. Just go find another one. There's more.
Well, the same noise will be in half of them. It's the same post posted 7 times of, this, that, and the other thing.
I like the ones that are really well moderated, and they stick to topics.
Exactly.
And they don't allow garbage and people just to, throw junk in there.
Well, and it's hard. We know what it's like. It's not easy, but it's also, if you don't keep it clean or keep it to the rules, I don't even care what the rules are. If that's what you want in there, if you want memes and things, that's fine. And that's okay. People like them. They're funny. But stick to the rules and then hold those people accountable to it,
Yeah, but there's so many great communities.
Yeah.
Like that motorcycle maps one.
Oh, gosh.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
I saw that he just went over 100,000 subscribers, which is insanity. It's a great group, too.
It's a great group.
Ours is different. We do just motorcycle advice for people. We try to keep it just to that. That's not posting your ride pics. That's not promoting your YouTube video. None of that.
Not selling your motorcycle.
We don't even promote this podcast on there, even though we're moderators, because that's not what it's for,
Right.
So, I love those 2 groups. Motorcycle Map, he's just doing a fantastic job. And I really like ours. It's narrow, laser focused, If you have a question, there's people from all over the U.S. that can answer it,
Yeah, that's the way I would do it for your planning.
Yeah.
And pick a state, ask certain questions, and they'll get answered in those.
We posted pictures of potential rides that we've taken, and people are like, "Oh, do this, don't do this, don't." I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing. The next segment is what we call the mile marker. It's our story segment. Now we have the mile marker, so we're in the middle almost-ish. By the end, I guess we'll be at the middle of a 6-part series. We're in 3 of 6 now. What we're doing is talking about the top 5 best motorcycle roads of Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Minnesota. So I'm enjoying this. Hopefully we drum up some controversy and people tell us about their favorite roads that we left off the list, because that would be dandy. So top 5 motorcycle roads in Illinois, and no, 88's not on the list, Todd. Not one tollway.
The tollway, right.
It's great.
No.
I know. It's rough, too. I was on that recently. Oof.
And it's constantly under construction at some point, too.
That's true. So our number 5 great road of Illinois is called the Great River Scenic Byway. So basically where Mississippi, Missouri, and Illinois rivers come together, that's this. And so it's not a long set of roads. It's just kind of a lot of roads around rivers, which we always like.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the things we've also been doing lately is getting better pictures of our bikes with certain places. So in Alton, it's the world's tallest man statue, which I thought was cool. And then there's a mural of a Native American dragon called the Piazza bird. And then at the same area, generally down there, there's a Lewis and Clark Confluence Tower, which I assume is it's like a historical marker for the Lewis and Clark area that they were there. So, of course, the best season of this area would be fall, leaves and temperatures. And it's not a big area down here, but just take your time. There's just a lot of cool things to see. And you being from Illinois, you didn't even know it existed, more or less. So, it's kind of interesting. So, it just looks like there's a lot of things to see. Number 4, which is closer to Chicago, so people that are in Chicago, Illinois River Road. And so basically just outside of Chicago, Peru, Illinois, you go down the southeast side of the river down to Peoria, and then you cut back and come up the northwest side. A couple state parks, Starved Rock, Hennepin Canal, and then this was self-proclaimed as I was doing the research, but probably worth a drive now. The world's most beautiful drive, Grandview Drive near Peoria Heights. So I think spring and fall would be a great time here again, all around a river, lake-ish area, not too far from Chicago. So if you're in the cities, that's an option to get get around there. Another short one, but comes in at number 3, is the Kankakee River Road. Essentially a 30-mile little run from Wilmington to
Kankakee.
I have too many Ka's, not enough Ka's the first time. So, but in this Kankakee River State Park, there is some historic covered bridges, which is interesting.
Yeah.
In the summertime, they have a lot of activities going on in the area. And it's just a very scenic route around the Kankakee River, which I think is great for just a casual ride. It's not going to be something that's going to take you days and days. It's easy to get there and around it and back in a day. So, coming in at number 2 for us was the Illinois-Lincoln Highway. So this is state border to state border. So Sterling, Illinois to Sauk Village. And along that way, many people know Ronald Reagan's boyhood home. And then there's actually a Lincoln Highway Association museum there, which I've never been there. Springtime is best for the weather here, but this is a very historical route. Now, this route goes all the way, I think, from coast to coast. I think it comes from Boston to California.
No kidding.
I think 30 does. Yeah, I think it was one of the first highways that was trans-U.S. Clearly Lincoln Highway, Lincoln made it happen. But man, even just in Illinois, there's some great spots to stop. Lots of historical markers, and some of the towns coming across Illinois are really cool. Get you off that big interstate tollway, kind of keeps you rolling at times. I think some of it's actually on that, but I think you can take the old road as well.
Yeah. I think I've ridden most of that.
Have you?
Yeah. Through Illinois. Yeah.
I mean, it's not exciting. A lot of cornfields. It's not really hilly, but I think the historical markers in the small towns is the thing to see there, more or less.
Yeah, it is.
And then, of course, I think hands down, no question, even if you disagree about 2 through 5, I don't think anyone's disagreeing about the Great River Road. 550 miles, Galena to Cairo. Some great places in between there. Galena, Nauvoo, named by Joseph Smith, the leader of the Latter-day Saints. You've got the Quad Cities. You can stay on the Rock Island, Moline side and get the best gyro, in my opinion, in the whole state of Illinois or Iowa, at Uncle Pete's. Technically St. Louis, jump across the river, some great barbecue. I'm sure there's barbecue on the Illinois side. And then it all ends down in the Shawnee National Forest, which is pretty awesome in itself.
It is awesome.
Late spring, early fall, of course. If you're into a Native American historical sites, this ride is it. There are so many sites down there that you just forget about. If you don't believe me, go on YouTube. They tell you everything. Great food. The scenery along this is just amazing. So,
yeah.
I mean, we didn't talk about savannas on there.
Right.
There's some great places, motorcycle places too.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. That's Shawnee National Forest. I just remember that being just a great ride.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting because if I remember things correctly, it's kind of there's the Shawnee National Forest, and there's kind of the River Valley, and you're riding in between the river and the Shawnee National Forest. It's just such a kind of interesting place.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of weird because I think, isn't that the same place where is it the Bald Knob cross?
Yeah, I think
is that?
So. I think so.
And it's just interesting because, like, if you go to that cross, you can see this valley, and there's so much of that's still Illinois, and you have a panoramic view there too, and it's just kind of interesting. It's not like big mountain areas. It's just different. It's a river valley, The podcast can be found on bestmotorcycleroads.com/podcast. All the information you need will be there, but you can subscribe on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, Pocket Casts, and YouTube.
This is the interactive segment. We will be looking for input from you. We want you to send us your questions and suggestions for roads, topics, and anything else you have on your mind. Today's Roadside Q&A comes from Paul and Deb. They may or may not be from Illinois. I guess I don't really know, but I chose this question from them today because they're asking about outside of the popular routes like the Great River Road, asking if there's any hidden gem roads in what region of Illinois.
Illinois.
No, Illinois. That offer stunning views, interesting historical stops, those sorts of things. And the Elizabeth Scales Mound Road, it's a scenic route in northwestern Illinois. It takes you through some rolling farmlands, pastures, occasional glimpses of the Mississippi River in the distance. And at the top, if you climb up to the very top of the mound, there's a small town with just panoramic views
Oh, wow.
everywhere, the countryside. So it's a nice leisurely ride, beautiful scenery, a very historic, charming little town,
Yeah.
and just a real good destination for a hidden gem, in Illinois.
I think of two more hidden gems.
Okay.
One minor one, if you're into military stuff. So there's an arsenal in Rock Island, has been for a number of years. North of there, you can see it right on Google Maps, and it's kind of a hidden secret, is a huge area where they have underground bunkers where they, I think still today, store ammunitions that they make from at the arsenal, so that they can have stockpiles. And you'll see them right on Google Maps. It's not a big secret.
Yeah.
You'll just see roads with these mounds, and you'll start to think, oh, that's what's in those. So that's kind of an interesting if
That
you're
is, yeah.
history buff. And second thing we didn't really recognize, because I don't think it's one of the best rides, but we probably should have put it in there as a bonus, is, Route 66 starts in Chicago and ends in St. Louis. Now, we've talked about a little bit Route 66 in the past, and it's not a great ride in Illinois, but there's still some historical markers along the way. So like that is a gem. It's kind of a very unpolished, needs help gem in Illinois. Because really when you start to get to Missouri, Kansas is when they kind of taken time to build some of that back up. But you go right through, like if you draw a lazy line from Chicago to St. Louis, that's Route 66. I mean, that's where it started.
Oh, yeah.
So,
but it doesn't end there.
No. But I'm saying it traverses through Illinois.
Gotcha. Yeah, of course.
It's a road. It's a historic road. So that's
Very
another.
much.
Again, many of the places I've researched it are closed and shut down in Illinois, and they haven't opened them ever again. But there are stops.
Yeah.
It was popular.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Try and find that.
Now it's time for the last mile. It's the way we close the episode out, talk about what we spoke about today, and kind of get us beefed up for the next one.
Right. So for me, having grown up in Illinois, I know people think of Illinois as being real flat, and the center of the state, south is, but it's not all flat. There's plenty of beautiful rolling roads, twisty, scenic views. Avoid the tollways, avoid the interstates. Ride the river roads, the lake roads, the farmland, rolling roads. Find the charming little towns on the 2-lane roads. And as you get into those places, talk to people.
Yeah.
Talk to people along the way. They're happy to point out scenic and interesting things to see, places to eat.
That's a great point.
Just talk to people, because they're going to really point you the way to the really interesting hidden gems.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. I would say the same. I mean, the Great River Road is just awesome. Like, it's so much better than every other road in Illinois, in my opinion. But even down in Paducah area, I mean, Paducah is basically on the Illinois border, right? That's another river. I mean, we didn't talk about it today, and we still tried to stop it at a bunch. But the Cave in the Wall is down there too, and that's out just on the other side. I think of Shawnee.
Yeah.
And it's a hideout of old time people, and like every place, to your point, has a little hidden gem of something that someone would find interesting. You got Effingham has the Corvette and Volkswagen parts place, and we love Moonshine, Illinois. There's gems in every state, and it's more about the people than it is anything else. And I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
It's just a good time. And
yeah.
Funny, Illinois has the weirdest secondary roads in the southern Illinois part. It's basically, I think most of the farmers just run them. But I know when we've been cutting through, I mean, I think they just take care of them, because I don't think anybody comes out there. But it's interesting. If you ever travel down there in the fall, you got to be careful. But it's fun to ride through there during harvest season, because they are just rolling. I mean, these huge 1,000-acre farms down there, they're just going at it, and it's neat, And I'm sure that if you stopped and talked to a farmer, you may never get home. They just talk to you.
That's true.
So
in Iowa too.
That's true. If this episode revved up your day, don't keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, and share it with your crew. We're all about the thrill of the ride and the bond it creates.
Keep the spirit of adventure alive, and remember, bikes, friends, and endless roads. The stories ride forever. Take care.